Okay, so this other one we're talking about, and this is hopefully familiar from grade 10, is the idea of karyotypes and karyograms. So a karyogram is a picture of all the chromosomes in your body. So right here um, is showing a female karyogram. All right. So what's happened is this has been taken from a cell. So if it was a female, it might have been taken from say a hair cell, something like that. If it's an embryo, we'll talk about that. Or fetus, we'll talk about how that's given in a moment. And then what happens is they take a sample of this, and they have to do this during metaphase or prophase, or sorry, metaphase or anaphase, because that's the only time when chromosomes are visible, right? And they haven't split. So they take them and then they organize them from biggest here to smallest here. Okay, so you can see the kind of size-wise, chromosome 1's the biggest, chromosome 22 is the smallest, and then over here we have our sex chromosomes. Remember, we call the rest of these autosomes, so the non-sex chromosomes. Okay, and this is a normal person, so there's 46 chromosomes. Sorry, 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, and so each chromosome has one pair. Now the sex chromosomes, has two X chromosomes, so we know it's a female here. Okay. Here's a male. Again, same idea. Biggest is number 1, smallest is number 22, and then the only difference here is we have one X chromosome, one Y chromosome. Right here in the female, we only had two X chromosomes. All right. Now, here's the problem. You can get what we call a non-disjunction. Okay. So in normal mitosis, the chromosomes line up, right? Remember, they line up next to each other, and then they get pulled to opposite sides, and then there's a second one where they get pulled apart, and then they split. Okay. And normally that happens, right? Each of these chromatids here go to different sides of the cell, and then they split up again to go that way. What happens with a non-disjunction, and we can talk about it in meiosis 1 or meiosis 2, is for some reason, and it's showing right here, both of those chromatids go to one side. Okay, so what you end up with is here you end up with an extra chromosome, and here you end up missing a chromosome. So when you go through meiosis 2, you end up with the gametes. These two gametes have an extra chromosome. Okay, so if these were to fertilize another egg, you would actually, instead of having 46, you would have 47. Again, same thing can happen here, but here it's okay. But here, the sister chromatids don't pull apart correctly. So you end up with, these are normal, but these two are less. Okay. Now, most of the time when this happens, it's generally, if fertilization happens, that embryo is no longer viable, it doesn't develop, you don't even know you're really pregnant. However, there are some disorders like Down syndrome, or we call it trisomy number 3, tri, trisomy 21, sorry, not 23, trisomy 21. And what you can see here is there's one extra chromosome, okay? And this is known as Down syndrome. And again, that's the result of one of these sperm or eggs or whatever, usually eggs, joining together with another one. So you have 23 plus 24, right? So here's the sperm, here's the egg, those join together, you get 47. Okay? And we would write that you might see it written like this. So 47 chromosomes, male, plus 21. Okay, so that's the most common one you see. Um, Here's another one of an XXY, sorry, XXYY child. Okay, um, and in this case, they have two Y chromosomes. Okay, and again, just the result of a non-disjunction here, but instead on the 21st chromosome, it happened on the sex chromosomes. Right? Here's another one called Klinefelter Syndrome. 47 chromosomes, so an extra one. But in this case, we have two X chromosomes. Okay. But the rest of them were fine. So there's a lot of other disorders like this. There's some where crossing over doesn't occur and you actually lose a piece of this. Um, Most of these trisomies, like having an extra chromosome, like Down syndrome, most of them are actually fatal. They don't Rarely does that embryo develop past it. Down syndrome seems to be an exception, and there's a few more. But so hopefully here you can see how to do sex. You look for the sex chromosomes here, and then Down syndrome you want to focus on chromosomes 21. All right. So I hope that helps. Thank you.